driver, so that's nothing to you.
It's a lot easier when it's a 70 mile an hour or more speed limit than it was when it was 55.
Oh, 55.
Yeah.
That's when I lived out there, it was 55.
All right, 9 o'clock. Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have consider for approval minutes and agenda.
I make the most approved minutes and agenda.
I'll second it.
A motion by Jensvold and seconded by Derby to approve the minutes and agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. It's 9 o'clock. Discuss the 28E regarding General Assistant Director position. Do we need to table this? That we know that Kelsey can't be here this morning, or until next week then?
I would think so.
Okay, we'll table that. Busy day in court. Hey Scott, we're ready for you if you're ready. Thank you. Gosh, we had a really beautiful holiday weekend, didn't we? Golf? No?
So nice at work.
Yeah, and so did we. I finally have a mailbox. Finally set my mailbox full.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I guess Sunday we went to Mankato.
Mm.
My wife had to stay home because she was on call. Other than that, I didn't do anything too exciting. I considered going golfing a couple times.
Weather was beautiful. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, we're in the dark a little.
All right.
Got for us today, Scott.
Project update. So G16 and one's the project they're working on now. They're actually setting the box culvert today. Probably about setting the first piece about now or pretty soon. Those trucks were leaving from Humboldt a little while ago. They're all supposed to be there today, so it should take them most of the day to get that done.
Who's setting that with the
Holland Crane has their 120 crane out there. Yep, so by the end of the week, that one should be in pretty good shape. They'll have to haul a little bit of dirt, I think. So depending on all that, late this week or early next week, have that open to traffic. And then if the pipe's available, we'll move to the R50 DD1 Lat 2 culvert replacement project. I'm not quite sure if that one's available yet. I know Ethan's been checking on it. The project on 842 west of the feed mill is the box culvert should be available now or pretty soon. Contractor's waiting for that point to mobilize in and do the project, so we're looking at mid to late September now on that project. Follow more next week. And then E16 and R74 north of Lake Mills, that project will be pretty quiet this week. Got the recycling done last week. Later on, and that has a cure time under traffic, so once we meet the specifications and Heartland's available, they'll move in and do the asphalt paving. There's a little bit of prep work, so there might be kind of odds and ends work going on this week and next week, but it's pretty quiet. And we got crack filling maintenance work going on by Scarville, north of Scarville, east of Scarville, and south of Scarville. That should take a few days this week. And that's all for projects.
How long do they anticipate A42 replacement to take before the road's back open?
With good weather, 10 working days.
10 working days. That's not too bad.
So, if they work Monday through Friday and get started on a Monday, less than 2 weeks of time. So, but, we're getting closer to harvest here, and I'm sure that'll be a favor to get that done before any crops come out. I think we will.
Yeah,
Schedule keeps sliding.
as long as they don't back it off anymore and the weather holds. Really inconvenient, but then if there's enough traffic on that road, it's inconvenient no matter what time of year you do it, so.
About right.
We watched that machine going north of Lake Mills. That was fun to
Julie
watch.
has joined.
Yeah, the recycling train.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little different than Matthews was a couple of years ago. They had a milling machine out in front, just kind of churning it up, not lifting it up or anything. And then the second milling machine would come in and mix the oil in. It has a semi that's attached to it on the front, just pushing
And
it.
basically, the semi is what pulls it, right?
No,
I
it's
think it's
pushed.
Yeah,
Or the
again,
semi's getting
You
pushed.
just
pushed
sit
in
there in
neutral.
neutral. Yeah.
Oh,
Yep, and then
that's cool.
pretty regular paving machine behind that, getting all the millings augered into it. And
Yeah, it looked really good.
I think over the years, I've been in a lot of different construction zones, and it's just amazing how many different adaptions of the same process there are. So
Yeah.
Some of them seem to work better than others.
Yeah, I mean, in the 60s, Winnebago County was doing what they called bituminous treated asphalt base. Same thing. It kind of, I don't know what the equipment looked like back then, but, they were taking rock and dirt and mixing in asphalt, packing it down, and putting new asphalt on top.
Mm.
And most of that stuff's still underneath there. And it's served us pretty well, I'd say.
I see they're converting, going from shipping asphalt by train to by water now, down by Hampton. They had a train derailed down there.
Oh,
And
geez.
asphalt ended up in a creek.
Oh,
Four cars, I think, derailed.
That's not good.
He said they had
They ship,
asphalt.
they ship asphalt by, you mean
UP was shipping asphalt by
Liquid?
train.
the liquid?
No,
Or just
I
the,
don't know, they said asphalt, I don't think it was the
so
car.
as far as the already mixed stuff?
Apparently, yeah.
Doesn't seem right. I think they'd be shipping the asphalt binder, just the liquid, I would think.
yeah. How
Yeah,
did
but
they
even that,
keep it?
they've gotta keep it hot. 'Cause I spent 2 summers hauling, they called it asphalt, it was just the tar or whatever, and that stuff is 300 and some degrees when it goes in your trailer.
It's not like they had it contained pretty easily, those small
Which
creeks.
creek was that? Where at?
I don't know if it was south of Hampton or something. It wasn't the Iowa River.
You would think that it,
Too small to be the Iowa River.
once it got cold, it would set up some, but maybe some of that oil might be thin enough.
Or emulsion mixed with water, then.
What's amazing is when you load that asphalt, and then depending on where you're going, they'll give you a little bag about this big, a plastic bag, it's got silicone in it. And that little bitty bag, in theory, the guys that are running the asphalt plant can tell whether that got put in there or not, just by the way the asphalt flows. You couldn't think that a little bitty bag that could make that much difference in a 9,000 gallon load of.
So why'd they give it to you?
I throw it in the trailer, so that you wait till the oil starts going in your trailer, then you throw it down in there, and it melts the bag, and then it mixes with asphalt, just that little bit of latex can make the difference, I guess.
Interesting. Anything else for us, Scott, other than 4?
Yep, that's what's on the agenda.
Okay. Ready to go to 4? Discussion of possible action regarding fiscal year 2024 equipment purchase for the secondary road department.
Yeah, so as you know, lead times are pretty crazy with a lot of things, so we're trying to be proactive and get new equipment purchasing lined up for next fiscal year that starts July 1st, 2023. We've been in contact with the truck center salesman about a new Western Star 47X chassis, which is kind of the new version of the 4700 that we've been getting for quite a few years now. The salesman believes we have a slot that we can reserve if we can kind of get organized here in the next couple of weeks. It'll be a 2024 chassis bear, and the snow equipment is something we'll have to organize later. You remember the Western Star semi that we bought here in 2022 was about $124,000. The last bear truck chassis we bought for a plow truck was in 21 for $117,000. The last time we bought a full set of snow equipment and a dump body was all the way back in 20 at about $120,000. So 125 and 120 gets you 145,000. We've seen surcharges on everything in other counties as well, 5 to 10,000, just trying to keep up with the markets for quotes that have already been signed. So I would think we're in the $250,000 range for a complete truck. That being said, we are planning to tentatively install the snow equipment ourselves.
New equipment or?
New equipment installed ourselves, which we haven't done exactly before. As you remember, we reused 2 sets of snow equipment, and I thought our guys did a really nice job with that. I think we have the time for it in upcoming years, as our trucks, I think, have gotten to be better shape than 10 years ago, and we aren't having to work on them quite the same way. And we've also been building pups over the last 10 years as well, and we have a pretty good fleet of pups. So I think there's a little window for our own guys to be able to install that snow equipment. And so the cost of the snow equipment will go down because it usually includes the cost of labor to install it. And I don't know what that is, 20 to 30,000, I would guess. So at this point, I have a first draft quote that Aaron, our mechanic's looking through, and we'll get that kind of tentatively finalized and back to the dealer, and they'll be working with their, he calls it concessions group, to come up with the number of, not the retail price, but what kind of discount they can give a government entity, and then we'll kind of know what the price is going to be.
So this is something that you had budgeted,
We will be budgeting for it.
so
when
it's
we-
not
Yeah,
for,
it's not currently budgeted because it'll be in the fiscal year 24 budget that starts July 1st, and we'll be doing that budgeting process come January or so.
So this action would commit us to budgeting.
okay.
Yeah, if the last few years we budgeted, I don't know, 400,000 to 600,000 per year for new equipment. This kind of signs us up for the first 125 or something, and well, include the whole truck for the whole 250, and then I imagine we'll try and line up the other 2 to 250, 150 to 250, whatever we think. I'll start penciling out the budget probably in October to try to get
Are those estimates with the trade-in?
No, those are outright costs, so we would most likely trade in if we can get a good price from the dealership. His salesman didn't really think that's the best way to get the most money out of our truck, and we haven't sold one that way before. The last probably 50, all of them have been traded on our own auctions after being kind of body work and repainted by our own guys.
How did we do on those that we sold at?
Really well in the last two. They sold for like, I want to say 42,000 a piece or something. And
Was that with the snowplow equipment or without?
without, and we've kind of salvaged and reused some and kept it. We have found that the market's looking for a fully functional snowplow truck, but this next one, I think we could certainly sell it that way if that's how we think we're going to get the most money for it. By the time they get that old, we're usually robbing parts from each other to make one work.
There's a bigger demand probably for guys that just want a dump truck.
That's kind of what we've seen.
I'd like to have one this.
Yeah. So I guess we're thinking about private sale or advertising in a paper and maybe in a truck magazine or something like that to see if we can get the price we want for it.
How old is the one you're gonna sell?
You would have that.
That's all right.
Maybe it's the equipment list with you, 542. Is it a 06?
I was gonna say, it's an 04 or something like that. Because I remember that there was nothing that was older than 2000 anymore. They were all about truck and
Yeah, I think we've done a nice job in the last 10 years of pulling our truck fleet a little bit out of the dumper. They were pretty tough shape when I started. Just there'd been a couple of years where they weren't able to spend any money on new equipment and kind of got behind.
I don't know if I can,
You know,
something about it. Probably not.
Early 2000s, what do you think?
That's what I remember.
it's in that decade for sure.
I was
It's
thinking
not very
02, 03 is what I was.
not getting there very
I
close.
remember 542, that's all.
I would keep that kind of thing with me too, but I don't.
Used to have one.
I know it ought to be close to 400,000 miles by the time we get to that point of getting rid of it, which is a pretty good rule of thumb for our fleet. When they get to 400, 450,000 miles, depending on which guys drive in, how many miles a year it gets on it, it's pretty tired.
So the guys were out grading roads this morning. Is it just because we have enough moisture in the air or something? Because, I mean, it looked like it was working.
Yeah. If it's working, we should be out there blading. That's all I can say. Each of those guys knows better than I do about when the conditions are just right. And sometimes you got to be out there even when the conditions aren't just right, just because they need some attention. Even if you can't do a great job, try to do some improvement. Yeah, pretty heavy dew this morning. I don't know if that.
Almost like it rained. So what year is this piece of equipment?
The new one?
Yeah.
24.
24.
So I guess at this point, I hope to have a quote in the next week or two that we'll be able to submit for approval.
So there's no action today necessarily then.
No action, just information.
Any other questions for Scott? All right, thank you. Hey, Chris, we're ready for you. Thanks. So if they dump 3 train car loads of asphalt in a creek, what kind of horrible hazmat?
It sounds like
Whatever
they have
has
a
to
piece of
happen.
equipment that goes in there, it's a floater, and it isolates it and catches it. It's nice that it's a smaller creek.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
How's Chris?
Pretty good. I
Anything
don't
else?
have a whole lot. I know Terry and I talked about DD3 Lat 8. I have a couple of petitions to clean parts of it, so I'm gonna get with Helgeson's to see if they can just start at the
Nice, yeah.
outlet and see how far it needs to be cleaned instead of just spot cleaning.
Mm.
So I have that going. That's it.
I don't today.
Do you remember when they cleaned DD11, did it go all the way to the river?
Like years ago when they cleaned it?
A couple of years ago, 3 years ago? Do you remember there was the 11 and then there was the 8 and we combined them into the same?
No, that's DD1 and 8.
Oh, DD1 and 8, yeah.
Okay.
So DD1,
They did go all the way to the river.
they did.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Yes.
seems like it's so high there all the time.
Yeah, and I feel like when we looked at that before, when you brought that up, when they looked at it, it is the river's problem and not the
Just
drainage
Corps
problem.
of Engineers
Mhm.
cleaning down.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
because I can remember we were discussing cleaning the river.
Yeah, yeah,
And it could be just spots, it would help.
right. And I don't think we get a choice there. I think we could clean a little bit of the river just where our
Just
outlet
where it
is,
sits, Yeah.
but if you can't clean a blockage up there. So,
There's too many weak links in that chain.
Since this is the oldest drainage district,
right,
it's been years and years of silting.
something. Mhm. Is there farming right up to the river, or is that,
Oh, no, there's a lot of hunting land right there,
right, okay,
so it's all protected. If we got it cleaned, it would stay that way probably.
right. So it's not gonna help any farmers, because it's not like it's too wet for them to farm.
That's that tract, right at the 969 corner to the east there,
Mhm.
it's all hunting,
Mm-hmm.
240 acres.
And doesn't conservation have a lot of that?
I think,
The south part.
is it conservation or DNR?
I don't
I can't remember who's
Oh.
in charge.
That's
I don't-
conservation there, isn't it?
Because I thought they had a sign that's right
I'm
south of,
imagining
Yeah,
this
probably.
on the highway, they have a
The farm,
sign and they
yeah.
go,
Called it the farm
where that
tract.
tree that fell over that's still growing. I think that's
Oh.
conservation in there.
Yeah, it is.
Because isn't that's where they were using their new piece of equipment in there? That, when Robert Schwartz was telling us about that new chopper
Okay,
brush,
that's where they were doing it,
they were, I believe.
so.
Well, anything else, Chris?
I don't know.
Wow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, what do we have for open forum today? Must be something or we'll get out of here way too soon.
like most of it is the county, but there's some on the north side that's the Holland tract. Holland Rickard. But it's all hunting.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I suppose I could have received that one.
Wish somebody would get out of line so we could use that. I've never had the opportunity.
Just have to get 'em.
Yeah,
Every time we pass a motion,
can I just do it then?
You can if you want.
if it makes you feel better.
I was thinking about taking it to the EMS meeting the one night.
I was gonna call you last Thursday just to have you bring it with.
That would be a good idea, actually. Cool. I've had a few phone calls about it.
Everybody I've talked to since then, since we gotta do it. And they pay big bucks in the farm taxes, so.
Yeah, people think that we have to do it for the betterment of the greater good. Well, that's good.
I'll make a motion to approve the 7 monthly county claims.
I'm second it.
Motion by Jensvold, seconded by Derby to approve the semi-monthly county claims. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. All right. Meeting adjourned.
Oh,
Can I do
like
that?
you, like you mean it.
No, because somebody else
No,
messed
he
with it.
really whacked it.
No, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, he
really?
wound up in wet like you can't believe. It's made to take a little whacking, but not, he took a
Not
full
like, I mean,
swing.
he had her up here.
Yeah, he whacked, yeah,
And who was that did that?
Wayne,
Wayne moving.
Oh,
his brother.
So it's only fitting that Willie's brother put the dent in it.
sure.
On the first hit.
Yeah, first time I'd ever